Hello, I'm Geoff Hattam. Every year, people approach us full of excitement about an opportunity to buy a business. Quite often they've had financial statements from the vendor or from the agent, they've been to see their bank, they've told all their family and friends, and it's just a matter of making it happen. That's when they come to us, Andrew.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Geoff, they often haven't considered the downside and what could go wrong.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, there's a lot of things could go wrong, and I guess the thing about it is buying a business normally involves a sizable chunk of money, both not just from an upfront perspective but an ongoing basis. And unfortunately, prospective purchasers don't give that investment decision the real respect that it deserves.
Why don't they do that?
Well, I think there's a number of reasons. I think there's three key reasons. First of all, they get blinded by the opportunity.
So just the excitement builds.
The excitement of, they see this, they might have worked at the business and they think that it's making a certain amount of money and we can take it over, and I've always wanted to own a coffee shop, or I want to do this, so they want to rush and they're really excited to do something. The second aspect is often they get pressure from the vendor or the vendor's agents. We've got 5 other people that are looking at this business, you're going to have to make a decision really quick. And the third thing is, and this is probably the worst part of it, is that they consider spending money up front in reviewing the process or considering the process, whether it be with advisors or lawyers or whatever, as a waste of money if they don't proceed.
So it's a bit like a building inspection when you buy a house.
Yeah, it is. I see it as a real insurance process. It's like insurance, that you spend the money, you do your process properly and be prepared to walk away having invested a bit of money in the investment to start with, rather than not doing a review and blowing up a whole lot more money or making a bad call later on. So better to take a small hit early absolutely.
And then walk away if it doesn't stack up. So what should they do? What's the process that they should do?
Okay, look, the first point is obviously once they've got the financial information and things like that from the agent or the vendor, you need to do an appraisal of the business. You really need to get your own opinion about what it's worth based on the financial performance, the risks of the business and things like that. Sit down and do an appraisal or evaluation so that you've got an idea of the market, so that you can negotiate on a level playing field with the vendor. The appraised price might agree with what the asking price is, in which case you can easily go and do a deal.
Normally it wouldn't, though, would it?
No, normally it wouldn't. Normally vendors have an overinflated opinion of what their business is worth, and their asking price normally reflects that. So, assuming that we can still negotiate, if we're there and we can agree a price, then it's important to do a due diligence on that.
What's a due diligence?
A due diligence is like an audit. It's a review of the disclosures that have been made by the vendor or the agent to support their information. So making sure they've told us that their sales is $1 million. Well, you review the financial information and make sure that that is the case. They've got contracts in place. You want to go and see those contracts, the leases. You want to go and meet the team and the people that work there. So that basically gives you comfort that the assumptions that have been made as part of the appraisal process and on the financial disclosures really support the price that's been agreed.
So we've found the business we want. The numbers all stack up. We've agreed a price. I guess the next thing we've got to do is try and work out how we're going to pay for it.
Exactly. And look, that often involves going to some sort of financier, normally a bank. And as we all know, the financial landscape is significantly different now than what it was 5 years ago. Banks are a lot tougher. There's still deals to be done, but really on a different set of rules than used to be the case. And banks are really looking for 3 key things. They want to understand the person, they want to understand the potential of the business, and they want to understand the payback. And that involves presenting a business case or a business plan, financial forecast and modelling. They want to know what the business is going to do in the future, not necessarily what it's done in the past. So budgets on a best case, worst case, likely case. They also want to understand the security position in the event that something goes wrong. How do they get their money back?
It's a bit unreasonable, isn't it?
Oh, maybe so, but that's the way of the world.
Yeah, fair enough. And so, Is it a long process, Andrew?
Oh, look, it can be, Geoff, but
Yep.
normally all this can happen in the space of a few months.
Right, okay, but we're talking months, not weeks, probably.
Yeah, we're not talking weeks.
Yeah, sure.
Look, there is a lot to get through. I mean, a normal bank process, might take, 6 weeks to 3 months by the
Yep.
time it, gets through the system. But once we got that, then the last bit of the process in terms of getting a deal across the line, once we got funding approved, normally, it doesn't take that long.
What other things should people consider?
Yeah, look, the last bit really is the structure
Yep.
of how they're going to do it. So how's the business going to be owned? We have to consider things up front. It's important to get the structure right from day one.
So we're talking companies, trusts.
Companies, trusts,
Yep.
structures, partnerships, whatever it might be.
Yep.
So consideration of income tax issues or capital gains tax for the future. How do you get out somewhere down the track? Is start with the end in mind.
Yep.
Get the structure right, because it's more expensive to change it down the track.
Okay,
But
fine.
that's really the easy bit. That's where the lawyers will generally get involved and
Yep.
and do the settlement or the business contracts and settlement and things like that. But
So you need a good team of people around you.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, a good set of advisors with accountants, lawyers, insurance people, to get all these things in place
Yep.
is really important to assist a smooth and as stress-free as it possibly can process.
Yeah, because I'm sure it could be pretty stressful at times.
Well, it can be, especially like I said right from the start, with the pressure that's coming from vendors or agents or other people.
Yep.
Absolutely, it can be stressful, but with the right people around you, it should be a pretty smooth process.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Andrew. So there we said, important to give proper consideration to the purchase of the business, making sure that there's a rigorous review of the business, understanding your funding and getting your business structure right. Thank you.